Councillors, you are now live on YouTube.
Welcome everyone to this first hybrid meeting of Rushcliffe Borough Council. So we have here councillors who are not able to be present in the council chamber due to social distancing measures are joining us on Zoom. And there are some of us in the council chamber today. I'd like to start with something very sad, which is the minute silence for Dave Mitchell. Dave Mitchell first joined Rushcliffe Borough Council in 1989 as an assistant engineer. He undertook many roles within the council over his 32 years with us, culminating in his role as executive manager for communities since 2013. Sadly, Dave passed away in April after a short illness and just before he was due to retire. The council is planning a memorial event to celebrate Dave's life at Rushcliffe in June, and more details will be shared shortly. I would like to ask all those in the chamber to now stand to observe a minute's silence to remember our friend and colleague, Dave Mitchell. Thank you. We now have a moment of reflection, and I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Hussain. So would you please like to lead us in that moment of reflection, please?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much, Councillor Melinda, for giving me this, I think, a very wonderful privilege to talk to such esteemed and auspicious group. Neuroscientists tell us that we human beings are very smart, so smart that we only use about 5 to 10% of our intelligence. And however, our democratic society and our recent developments in justice and sense of diversity and pluralism has now allowed us to almost actually use that 100% intelligence, because we now depend and use all the resources and all the different abilities and capabilities people have. So really, we're at a very amazing cusp of change. 200 years ago, when we had the Industrial Revolution, we were very fascinated, and the world buzzed, particularly here. You know, this country was actually the mother of that Industrial Revolution. But today, when we look at it in hindsight, we wish, oh my goodness, we could have done this better. We could have done this better, because we're almost about to destroy our very existence. But despite all that, I think there's a lot of positive things. You know, when you have the Z generation looking to a great future, you know, that wonderful Greta Thunberg, I'm sure you all have a great respect for her, that 18, 19-year-old Z generation. And then you have people like the octogenarian, Sir David Attenborough, also motivating us, look, we can change, we will change. And then you have amazing technologists, philanthropists, people like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, who are people who can actually bring about real change, because not just of the wealth, but also because of the technological prowess we have. And recently this new improved batteries will lead to an amazing change, and a lot of people, researchers in environmental sciences believe that more than 50% of the new technology that will lead to that change is going to come very quickly with the artificial intelligence very soon. So, we've got lots of positive things to look at. We've got people who are truly dedicated to that way of life and want to see that change. We've got the technology, we've got the wealth to do it. And I think what we really do need to know is there is another dimension which we must not forget. And I think that is the spiritual dimension. And I think Prophet Jesus and Prophet Muhammad really epitomize that important other dimension of humanity, which really drives all those good ideas and good thoughts that Bill Gates has, that Sir David Attenborough has. And I think this is what Jesus meant when he said that man cannot just live by bread alone. Man does not live by bread alone. Sorry, man does not live by bread alone. Very important message, really, that we are not just material beings. We don't just need CO2. We don't need just oxygen. We don't need H2O only. There is something more deeper and more important. Not just physical world, but the metaphysical, the spiritual realm is also important. And the Prophet Muhammad also taught, when you are kind to those on earth, the one in heavens will be kind to you. And I think, their teachings are really about helping us to control some of those, Aristotle's 4 vices of arrogance, anger, jealousy, and greed. And I'm sure if we look at a lot of our problems, from wars to the destruction of our planet, I think we can actually boil them down to these 4 evils and vices. But how do we control these? How do we actually master our arrogance so that we become humble? How do we master our anger so that we have the sense of kindness, generosity, and we can forgive people? How can we be less jealous of seeing other? How can we be content? And how can we overcome our greed? And I think, we need all those different types of people, from the zesty, the enthusiastic young Z generation to the octogenarians who are so wise and full of wisdom, like Sir David Attenborough, and people who are philanthropists like Bill Gates, and those great technologists who are inventing amazing kinds of technology. But we cannot ignore the spiritual realm that really moves, and I think gives us the sense that we are one human beings. And I think that is the message, that we're all united in our humanity, in our pains and in our sorrows and in our happiness. And you people are amazing. You have so much to give to your society and to this borough and to our wonderful city and to our wonderful country. And I pray that God gives you that wisdom to make the right decisions. And I want to again thank Councillor Melanard for, I know, her services to the environment and of course to this amazing borough as well. And I hope she lives long and serves well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain. Now we turn to apologies for absence. Ms. Tambini, please.
Madam Mayor, apologies for absence have been received from Councillor Sarah Bailey and Councillor Penny Gowland. A number of councillors are unable to attend the meeting actually in the chamber, and they are appearing from home. They are councillors Kevin Beardsall, Naz Begum, Brian Bushman, Richard Butler, John Cotty, Gary Dickman, Mike Gaunt, Leo Healy, Lizzie Howitt, Christine Jeffries, Annie Major, Debbie Mason, Jenny Murray, Alan Phillips, David Sims, John Stockwood, Maureen Stockwood, Caris Thomas, Davinda Verdi, Rex Walker, Leslie Way, Gordon Wheeler, and Gareth Williams.
Thank you. Now we move on to declarations of interest. So does anyone have to declare any declarations of interest, please? There don't appear to be any declarations of interest. So now we come to approve as a correct record the minutes of the meeting of the council held on the 4th of March 2021. Councillor Robinson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to move those minutes.
Councillor Edivine.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to second the minutes.
Councillor Shaw.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to request a recorded vote, please.
Do you have a seconder, Councillor Shaw? Thanks. Thank you, Councillor Walker. So I'm handing over and for the names to be read out, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I shall read out the names of all those councillors in the chamber. If you could indicate whether you wish to vote for, against, or to abstain as I call your name. Councillor Brennan.
For.
Councillor Clark.
For.
Councillor Cumberlack. Councillor Edivine.
For.
Councillor Gray.
For.
Councillor Inglis.
For.
Councillor Jones.
For.
Councillor R. Mallinder.
For.
Councillor S. Mallinder. Councillor Moore.
For.
Councillor Perdue Horan.
For.
Councillor Robinson.
For.
Councillor Shaw. Councillor Upton.
For.
Councillor Jen Walker.
Against.
Councillor Jay Wheeler.
For.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That is carried.
Thank you. So I now move on to the election of mayor for 2021 to 22. So I'm inviting nominations for the office of mayor of the borough for that time. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak? Councillor Mallinder.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I would like to nominate and formally propose Councillor Sue Mallinder for the post of mayor for the forthcoming year. And so Sue was first elected to the council in 2003, first Green Party councillor in Rushcliffe, and has represented Lady Bay ever since then. Sense of deja vu here somehow. Sue is very much at the heart of the community and has lived there for many years. She's been secretary of the Lady Bay Community Association for over 20 years, been active in and helped form many community groups, and used to be a teacher at Lady Bay School. She currently holds down 2 day jobs as a science officer at Nottingham Museums and Galleries, and also as a Unison steward. She's a loving mum to her 2 lovely daughters, Alice, who's with us this evening and got married this year, and Lizzie, and granny to Lizzie's daughter, Elodie, who arrived late last year. It's been quite a busy year despite lockdown. Who's a dedicated, hard-working member of this council, has been for many years. I believe she'll make an excellent first citizen, and I heartily recommend that you all vote for her to be a mayor as Rushcliffe for the year 2021 to 22. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mallinder. Do I have a seconder, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to second Councillor Mallinder for mayor and basically repeat everything I said last year. If I was going to bring a recorder and just say the same things. I think mainly to say, obviously, it's been very challenging the last year, But certainly as the Conservative Group, very much support your position. We really hope that this year is going to be a lot more fulfilling for yourself. I'm delighted now we've got the first events in the calendar, so you can actually be out and about. Hopefully you won't be walking around Rushcliffe again, as you've done this time. You will be going more direct to events, and the profile, I absolutely endorse Councillor Malinder, Richard, in the comments. I think you're a tremendous ambassador for the council, and I look forward to supporting you in the year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Are there any further nominations, please? So there are none. So could I ask, please, for you to vote all those in favour that Councillor Sue Malinder be elected Mayor of the Borough of Rushcliffe for 2021-22? All those in favour? That appears to be unanimous. Thank you. So I declare that Councillor Sue Malinder has been elected as the Mayor of the Borough of Rushcliffe for 2021-22.
Congratulations, Councillor Malinder. Can I ask you now to come and sign the Book of Declaration, please?
Well, I'm getting that feeling of deja vu again. So what I want to mainly talk about are the charities which continue to be the ones that I chose last year. So they will continue and have another year where we hope we will be able to have rather more events than we did this year, which wasn't any really. So the three charities that I have chosen are the Nottinghamshire Wildlife Trust, people's needs for opportunities and suitable places to connect with nature has become even more apparent over the past 12 months. And many people have either rediscovered a passion for nature and are spending time in natural green spaces, or they've discovered this afresh during the lockdowns. But wildlife and green spaces are under an ever increasing threat. The Trust are determined to encourage more people across the county to take action for nature in their daily lives. And this includes volunteering for the many friends groups they support and advise across Rushcliffe. Their next campaign and most topical campaign is 30 Days Wild. I've already signed up, which encourages everyone to do something connected with nature every day in June. And the Trust will be delighted if thousands of people from the borough took part this year. 2020 was a record-breaking year for the campaign, and the Trust would love to at least match those levels of participation in 2021. So you can get a free pack if you sign up, and you can have lots of advice and ideas of the different ways to celebrate, connect with and help nature. And I'd like to welcome Gordon Dine, who's here this evening to represent the Trust. The second charity is Trent District Community First Responders, a small charity with a big name. They have no paid staff or premises to maintain, so every penny raised goes to supporting their frontline work alongside East Midlands Ambulance Service. Their 15 volunteers have remained active throughout the pandemic, responding to COVID patients alongside their normal response to medical emergencies in the community. And in the year April 2020 to March 2021, the team volunteered over 4,500 hours to frontline duties and attended nearly 1,500 medical emergencies, with patients ranging from just a few days old to our most senior citizens. And in addition, since January 2021, the first responders have been supporting the COVID-19 vaccination effort, both in preparing and administering the vaccines to the communities. And the team have been given 2,000 hours already to the end of May. There have been some days when all the vaccinators on duty have come from the Trent team. And in fact, today I had my second vaccine and I was actually vaccinated by someone not from Trent, but by a community first responder. So that was today at Gamston at 12:10. So I'm still going the Swan train, I tell you. And we have Oliver Furness, who is a first responder and a charity trustee, here this evening to represent the Trent District Community First Responders. And last but not least, we have Music Works. Music is central to our experience of the world around us. It's a primary source of the way we experience and interpret the world in which we live. It is one of the core experiences that define us, unite us, and enrich us. Music Works exist to promote all forms of music by encouraging, recognizing, and showcasing musicians' work to help them reach their full potential, and to improve the quality of life and promote health and well-being for everyone. Music works in music in care to help people with memory loss and dementia, for people who are having long-term medical treatment, for those with life-limiting conditions, and for their carers. The Heron Music Cafe, which has previously run in the Poppy and Pint in Lady Bay, has been running online all this year, and they have carried on with their work. So I'd like to welcome John Osborne and Hazel Kerr from Music Works. For the charity has been mentioned, I am still walking, not at the moment, round the borough of Rushcliffe. So far, I have now gone from, I believe this is the correct pronunciation, Zoch to Hickling, and Radcliffe-on-Soar to Shelton. So I think that's about 2/3. And although it might say it's 77 miles, I think you're looking at the roads, because looking on public footpaths, it's definitely about 100 miles, I think. And I'm also learning a lot, probably more than I would like to, about rural bus services, or their not very good service. I also did manage a few events last year. So I did manage 100th birthday, and then there were events for VJ Day, which were actually in person, and some remembrance events, including planting a tree in Bridgeford Park. There were other trees planted as well, and a very low-key Christmas light switch on, which involved just the Christmas tree in West Bridgeford. But I'm once again extremely honoured and very happy that you have let me carry on for another year to really experience what it's like to be the first citizen of Rushcliffe. And I hope that I will represent you all very well. Thank you. We've got to do something else now. So I'd like to move on to the election of the Deputy Mayor for 2021-22. Are there any nominations, please? Councillor Upton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to say that 3 weeks ago, I was actually vaccinated by a Trent first responder. I'm not sure if it was our colleague over there. I think it probably was. So happy to support one of your charities in that respect. I'd like to propose that Councillor Tina Cumberbatch is elected as Deputy Mayor for another year. The past 12 months, as we know, have been greatly disrupted by COVID, and the events that yourself and the Deputy Mayor have been able to attend have been severely curtailed. If only for this reason, I believe that Councillor Cumberbatch should be elected for another term. but Councillor Cumberbatch brings a great deal of private and public experience to the role of Deputy Mayor. She has been a borough councillor since 2009, is the current corporate overview scrutiny chairman, was a magistrate for 25 years, has run her own business and been a chairman of her local Hicklin Parish Council. She is also passionate about the Grantham Canal, I believe, and has a wide range of hobbies and interests. Tina is a great supporter of Rushcliffe and its various communities, and she will make an excellent deputy mayor for another term, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Upton. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Brennan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your reappointment as our Mayor. I'm very happy to second Councillor Upton's proposal to nominate Councillor Tina Cumberbatch as Deputy Mayor. As Councillor Upton has said, the last year has been a difficult one, with opportunities for the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor to undertake their usual wide-ranging civic duties, and raising funds for local charities has been severely limited, regrettably. Despite that, I know that Councillor Cumberbatch has continued to support communities across the borough, including those in some of our most rural areas, and she's used her extensive experience as set out by Councillor Upton as a councillor, a former magistrate and a businesswoman to support the Mayor and the Council during this last year. I have no hesitation, therefore, in seconding her nomination to be elected as Deputy Mayor for the next year, and one in which hopefully things will begin to open up and return to as close as normal as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brennan. Are there any further nominations for Deputy Mayor, please? There are none, so I would like to ask for a vote, please. So all in favour that Councillor Tina Cumberbatch be elected Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Rushcliffe for 2021-22. All those in favour, please. Once again, unanimous, thank you. So I declare that Councillor Tina Cumberbatch has been elected as the Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Rushcliffe for 2021-22.
Congratulations, Councillor Cumberbatch. Can I invite you to come and sign your declaration, please?
I declare that I take office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations, Councillor Cumberbatch. I've just got to admit a terrible mistake. Sorry, do you want to speak?
Yes, I'm going to say thank you, Madam Mayor. I thank you all for your confidence in electing me as Deputy Mayor for the current term. The coronavirus has impacted so many in the community and altered the accepted format for running of council and civic events. Fingers crossed, we're on the road to recovery. And today, in this chamber, heralds the baby steps we are taking in bringing the council back to a new normality. I look forward to the coming year with interest, assisting Councillor Sue Mallender as Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cumberbatch. Would the leader like to make his announcements, please? Councillor Robinson.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. And may I be first to congratulate yourself and Mr. Cumberbatch there, and congratulations on your positions. And I really hope you have a very, very successful and very positive year ahead of us. Could also, Madam Mayor, just to thank officers tonight for this, what they've achieved in creating this virtual and actual meeting. I know what a challenge it's actually been, and we should never take it for granted, because I think if someone said about 18 months ago or drew a picture of what would be happening, I think we'd all be in complete disbelief, wouldn't we? So I think it's a huge credit to Mrs. Marriott and team. So a big thank you, I think, from all the councillors for being able to bring this on. And of course, we hope that in July we will all be back in person. But I think to have this facility is tremendous, and I think it's a real testament to the council that we've reacted. Madam Mayor, could I also just welcome Councillor Matt Barney, who I think is on our screen, who was elected at the by-election. So a very warm welcome to Councillor Barney. I don't think he expected to be on the screen, but he is there somewhere, because I've just had a text from him. So a big warm welcome to him, and hopefully that he has a very successful, enjoyable stay as councillor. I'd also just like to acknowledge, ladies and gentlemen, a certain lady on there who actually reached a very special birthday in April. Unfortunately, weren't able to celebrate it. So for Councillor Christine Jeffries is there, and a big wave to Christine, who's actually there, who was 90 in April, and absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, Christine hasn't had the best of health, but we very much look forward to welcoming you back in the chamber in July, Christine, and seeing you back at work. And all the very best, and hope you really recover, and the very best of health as you go forward. Okay. Madam Mayor, I'd also just like to share with the chamber my cabinet to go forward over the next 12 months. First of all, I'd just like to start with Councillor Edwin, who will also act as my deputy leader. Councillor Edwin will take the role of business and growth. In his portfolio, particularly there, he will now take planning policy under the development portfolio and growth within that. My second cabinet member, Councillor English, who will be taking the environment and safety. So particularly there with licensing and also enforcement. As we know, we have a big emphasis at the moment in looking at enforcement and being much more effective. And this will now sit within Councillor English. My third member of the cabinet will be Councillor Brennan. Councillor Brennan will continue with her work in terms of leisure, as we hopefully now as we start to open up. But also very important is identifying just as we mentioned in previous speeches, how important the environment to us. It is a huge challenge to this council and to many of our residents, and we want to reflect it really at the cabinet. So under Councillor Brennan, we'll be having the environment, energy and carbon reduction. The fourth cabinet member will be Councillor Moore. Councillor Moore will be taking the finance, as it has done over the last few years, and particularly obviously with the budget and our debt management as well going there. And then obviously finally myself as leader, I will be looking after the strategic direction, the corporate strategy, our focus and vision as we go forward. So Madam Mayor, I would just like to wish all the cabinet well, and we have some very, very interesting challenges as we actually go forward. If I may, Madam Mayor, I'd just like to thank Councillor Upton, who's actually leaving the cabinet now. He's now gone over to the big house, as he calls it, across the road. But personally, I'd like to say a big thank you to him. Fantastic contribution he's made to the cabinet over the last few years. I'm still delighted that Councillor Upton will still be playing a very, very important role for this council, taking on the chairmanship of planning. He will also be our representative on JPAB, which is the joint planning board across the county. And he will also sit on the strategic board as well. So I think he's got a very, very important part to play as we go forward. But a big thank you for his cabinet position that he's held with great professionalism and great commitment over the last few years. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. So now we come to the appointment of committees and member groups for 2021-22. So could I please refer you to item 7? Councillor Robinson to move, please.
Yes, thank you again, Madam Mayor. You have the membership and the committees in front of you there. These committees also reflect the new challenges of the council as we go forward, particularly as you'll see in there is the Development Corporation, for example. That's a new committee we set up over the last year or so. And as we know, Development Corporation is going to play a very, very important part as we actually go forward. I'd also Madam Chairman, before I move the motion, is just to welcome 4 new chairmen who will be taking up their positions in terms of the committee. So we have Councillor Gareth Williams, who will be taking the licensing. We have Councillor Rex Walker, who will be taking standards, and Councillor Davinda Verdi, who will be the new corporate governance chairman. So a big warm welcome to them as chairman, and I wish you all the very best in these very, very important positions. I'd also, Madam Chairman, also like to thank some of the chairmen who are stepping down for their very, very good work over the last few years, particularly Councillor Francis Horan, Councillor Sarah Bailey, and also Councillor Richard Butler, who led the planning. So a big thank you to all those chairmen for the tremendous work they've done over the last few years. Lastly, before I move the motion, I'd like to thank all members of the committees of all parties. The committees, the member groups are fundamental to this council. The excellent work that you actually do. It's really appreciated, and it's very important that we continue that good work going forward. So I'd like to move the motion to, as we put this, the committee's membership going forward, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Councillor Edivine to second, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to second the recommendation and reserve the right to speak.
Thank you. I think we're moving straight to a vote unless anyone else wishes to speak. Do you wish to speak now, Councillor Edivine? No. You just say that every time. Okay, so can we have the people in the council chamber please to vote on the committees and member groups? So all in favour, please show. Thank you, that's unanimous. And that is completely carried. So now we go on to the approval of the timetable of meetings for 2021 to 22. So that's item 8. Councillor Robinson, will you move, please?
Yeah, once again, Madam Mayor, as we reflect the importance of Rushcliffe to these outside bodies, and a big appreciation for everybody that represents the council on there, I would just like to make one amendment, please. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I've moved one. I'll sit back to item 8. I'll just approve. Set up the approval meetings and move that forward. Nothing else to say, really. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Edivine.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to second the recommendation, and just in case anyone wants to say anything, I'll reserve the right to speak.
Is there any discussion on the timetable, please? No one wants to talk about the timetable, so all in favour of the timetable of meetings, please show. Thank you. I think that's unanimous as well, yes. So that is clearly carried, and we refer to item 9 now, the appointment of the representatives to outside bodies for 2021-22. So this is the one where you want to do the change, Councillor Robertson, according to my paper.
Yeah,
would you like to
thank you, Madam Mayor, and apologies
motion,
for
right.
bypassing the timetable of meetings, but nobody wanted to speak about it anyway, did they? So that's probably right. Yes, I'd just like to make an amendment, please, and this is just for the position of the Joint Planning Advisory Board. Again, it's a very, very important board which is going through housing policy and numbers. And I'd just like to put in that Councillor Upton, as chairman of the planning committee, will actually be representing the council in this position. So subject to that amendment, I'd like to move the appointment of representatives of outside bodies. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Edivine to second, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to second the recommendation, and again, just in case, I will reserve the right to speak.
Thank you. Any discussion? No opportunity, I'm afraid, Councillor Edivine. All those in favour, please, of the representatives to outside body, please show. Thank you. That's unanimous. sorry, I've got on my paper here, call the meeting to a close. And then I've realised that because I added a bit extra to my my little speech, I forgot to mention a really, really important thing. So I'm going to do that now because I can. So it was that, where is it now? I can't put it now. In this year, where a lot of traditional community engagement and activities have not been running, there's no fundraising really. Nevertheless, we have managed to raise, and thank you very much, all those who have helped to raise this money, £1,356 for those chosen charities. And I'd particularly like to thank the staff at Rushcliffe Borough Council who are taking part in an Around the World in 80 Days challenge, where teams of up to 4 are walking, cycling, rowing or canoeing collectively 24,901 miles in 80 days to raise money for the charities. And so far in Around the World in 80 Days challenge, they've passed the halfway point and have this week travelled around 1,800 miles to reach their target of Shanghai. So thank you very much, Rushcliffe Borough Council staff. And I'd also like to thank Councillor Gordon Moore and Georgia for their activities in raising money as well. And we're looking forward to have another tour of Saxondale, please. Thank you very much. So now I will call the meeting to a close. Thank you everyone for attending, and the next meeting will be on the 1st of July, where we hope all councillors will be able to attend in